Howdy folks, this is Checkers back again with another Fallout 4 video. This time we are going to take a look at how to set up a simple power grid in one of your settlements here in Fallout 4. So let's get started by opening up our settlement interface. And coming on over to the light bulb, the power tab, and up into generators. First up on our list of power generators is the small generator. It requires 2 gears, 4 steel, 2 rubber, 2 copper, 1 ceramic, and produces 3 power. Next we have the medium generator, which requires 3 screws, 3 gears, 7 steel, 3 rubber, 3 copper, and 1 ceramic, and produces 5 power. Next up we have the large generator. It requires rank 1 of the science perk under the intellect line, intelligence line in your perk sheet, and it also requires 6 gears, 5 screws, 4 rubber, 10 copper, 12 aluminum, and 3 nuclear material, and for all that it will produce 10 power for you. Finally, we have the windmill generator. It requires 15 steel, 4 copper, 10 aluminum, and 2 gears, and produces 3 power. For our example here today, let's put ourselves up a large generator over here a little out of the way. And you can hear it kick on and see it even has its own little light to help you see. Well, we have a kind of dark courtyard here. Maybe we'd like to add our own lights to it. Here we have a construction light, which might help to let us see what's going on back here. We can plant that down. If we look at it, we see that it requires 1 power, but how do we get the power from the generator to the light? Well, look at the generator, press your space bar, and then look at the light. You'll get this sparky wire, and it'll snap to the light when it's close to it. When it snaps on and you see the sparks disappear, press the space bar again, and we now have light going to our construction light. There are other lights, however, that behave a little differently. Here we have an industrial wall light, and you see that it just requires power. Well, we have power in the settlement, 10 as a matter of fact, although one of them is being used. 1 unit is being used by this construction light. So how do we get power to this, and what does it mean that it doesn't have a number? It doesn't even have 1. Well, it means that it uses ambient power. And the way we get ambient power from here to there is to construct pylons. There are small pylons like this one, and larger pylons like this one. So, having constructed our pylons, we can come back to the generator, spacebar to the generator, sparky line to the small pylon, spacebar to connect, spacebar on the small pylon, sparky wire to the larger pylon, spacebar to connect. We are now in the ambient radius of this large pylon, and the industrial wall light will turn on. But we can do something else that's even a little cooler. Let's build another pylon right here. And we will connect power from the large pylon to the smaller pylon. Now let's go inside this old house in Jamaica Plain. What you'll notice is we have a television that's on. Not only that, we can add more light to this room just by looking through what we can construct and finding, let's say, a ceiling light and constructing it. Well, you know, that's an okay light. It might be nice just for a look, but it doesn't really do too much for the room as in actual lighting. So let's remove that, and I'll show you probably the best light just for overall I need light, and that is just this bulb hanging down on a cable. And all of a sudden the room is bright as pre-war. Okay, so we've seen that we can light, we've seen that we can string power around. There are a couple other uses for power. Let's plant ourselves a pylon here on the ground, and now come over to our defense tab. There are some turrets that require power, like the missile turret, which is incredibly powerful. But if we slap that down, you'll see it looks forlornly at the ground. It wants something a little more. So we spacebar to the generator, spacebar to the small pylon, spacebar from the small pylon to the missile turret, and we have an active missile turret. The same thing goes if you want to add a trap. I'm not going to set up any trigger for it. I'm just going to slap a Tesla arc trap down and wire from the small pylon to the trap, and we have a light show. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, once again this has been Checkers with another Fallout 4 video, this time looking at simple power grid structures in Fallout 4. I'd like to remind you that I have a Twitter link in the description of the video and on my channel main page. Also, if you look in the upper right hand corner, you'll find a small letter I with a white circle around it. These are cards and links to other videos that I've made, in this case probably Settlement Defense, and more videos on power once they've been made. I would like to thank you for watching. I hope you found the video informative and maybe just a little entertaining. I'd like to invite you to subscribe and ask you to please take care.